I think one of the more challenging things about the immigrant experience for people who particularly come to the United States is the way that they're able to become comfortable and really be themselves in a different language and a different culture. This is something that I've experienced living in different countries, and that moment where you're able to really feel comfortable and feel that you're yourself, really think is a kind of a magical moment. My name is Sam Stoddard. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO at SimpleCitizen. About 7 years ago, I started SimpleCitizen with my co-founders, and this is our story. When I was younger, I loved spending time with friends. We would dress up in different costumes. I loved to make movies. One of my passions is film, and even when I was a very young kid, the moment I got my hands on a camera, I was already writing scripts and storyboarding and recruiting the kids in the neighborhood to star in my productions. I've always had a flair for the dramatic and bringing people together, trying to execute a vision. I was raised Mormon, LDS, and so I had the opportunity to go on a Mormon mission. I was chosen to serve or go live for 2 years in South Korea. And it was really, as a lot of people say, some of the best 2 years of my life. Living in a completely different culture, in a different country, doing everything in a different language. That was really the first moment where I gained a deeper appreciation for the immigrant experience, because I was experiencing that in South Korea. I knew that I wanted to study business, so I ended up majoring in accounting. I spent a lot of time in the political science building, getting involved in Model UN. During that experience, I met Unju Yoon, who eventually we dated for a number of years, and then we got married. I figured that because I was a citizen, she would just automatically become a citizen. I hadn't really thought at all about immigration or green cards or what that process would look like. We were able to attend some event that was put on by a local immigration lawyer, and we learned that, in fact, there was a huge process, a whole lot of paperwork involved in her applying for green card, and it was pretty overwhelming. The forms were confusing. The amount of information I had to put in over and over and over again was annoying. I still was worried that maybe I had misinterpreted a certain question that was worded the wrong way. We went back to that immigration lawyer, and I'll never forget going in with our huge stack of forms and supporting documentation and sliding that across the desk. She sorted through it or leafed through it, maybe 10 seconds if I'm being generous, and said, "Great, this is good, cool, now that's gonna be $500. That frustration was really the light bulb moment where I started to wonder, are there other people like us who it's relatively straightforward? We just want a little bit of peace of mind. I had always wanted to, at some point, start my own business, start my own company. My nephew, Brady, who's very close in age to me, we grew up together. He was living in Portland at the time and was helping with building the first prototype of the website. Or when we had our first office in Salt Lake City, he was immersed in the work of creating and building a company. We originally were introduced to Ide, and she was going to be essentially an intern. And so she was going to design and translate a bunch of stuff into Spanish. And she had also taken a few steps further and had already started to flowchart and build the decision tree of what that software needed to do. She did a phenomenal job. It was obvious that she was so much more than just an intern and a translator, and we realized, wow, we just found our CTO. I, early on, had sent out many emails to every single lawyer in the state of Utah who practiced immigration law. They were not excited. They thought it was a bad idea. The day comes where we finally launch publicly our product. It was a really exciting day. All these people signing up as customers to use our software. Amid all of that excitement, I got forwarded an email from a network of immigration lawyers who, needless to say, were not excited about the launch, about our product, or about us. And it was so interesting to read through their comments and to see them get as worked up as they were. That was a huge signal that we were on to something and we were doing the right thing. IDAY was featured on the cover of the American Bar Association journal. We went from that experience that I had with the attorney that Unju and I sat down with to pitching to all of these lawyers who brushed us off, to finally really having a seat at the table in the community, the gatekeepers of immigration and immigration law. This last time when we spent about a month in Korea, there was a moment where we were all gathered for dinner and we were sitting on the floor. My wife's grandmother noted that she was just so impressed that I was eating Korean food that's not just barbecue, which really made me feel like I was a part of that community. To be able to share stories and kind of make people laugh, that moment in particular, I really felt like I am able to share who I am with them and they're able to understand and we're able to connect. It's very inspiring to see immigrants go through that process every day and nobody really notices or cares. But when you have to do it yourself, you realize just how difficult that can be. We as an organization and a company have a seat at that table, but we're bringing with us all of these tens of thousands of customers from every country around the world imaginable to also have a seat at that table and participate and have an easier pathway to capturing the benefit of legal permanent residency or citizenship for themselves and their families.